Cypress Development Corp's flagship lithium project is located just east of Albemarle's Silver Peak mine in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. A 12-hole exploration drill program for lithium-enriched claystone on Cypress's 100% controlled properties is now underway. Cypress Development Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the Pink CYDVF, and on Frankfurt C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. Welcome back to the show, Sharon.
Thank you so much, Jim.
And I hope winter's little blast here in British Columbia hasn't hurt you guys too much.
Well, not too much, but our hydro bills are probably going to be huge. I got some emails from someone in the interior in Fortis, electrical territory, and she says that her hydro bills have basically doubled to $930 every 2 months.
That shouldn't be happening in BC.
No, it shouldn't.
What do you think this is, Ontario?
Well, it's ridiculous, and she has no reason for it. Someone else in the Vancouver area said that their bills had gone from $250 for 2 months up to over $480. I don't understand these huge increases. And I'm looking at the consumption numbers. I've asked them both to send me, and I haven't received them yet. Consumption numbers that you can get off Hydro's website. I don't know if Fortis keeps them or not. But if anyone who's a BC Hydro customer can go in to BC Hydro's website, www.bchydro.com, look at their account, and get consumption data numbers. And it goes back like 4 or 5 years. And you can get average daily consumption numbers. And many people have complained to me, and by many I mean hundreds, over the last 2 or 3 years, about their consumption numbers just doubling and tripling since they got the smart meter, and they don't know why. And Hydro doesn't provide anything. They always come up with this ridiculous statement like, maybe you got a hot tub that you forgot about, or maybe you had 20 people visiting you last month and you forgot about it. You know, it's ridiculous, and many people are really suffering financially because they can't pay these bills. And Hydro is going to be going into this death spiral that we've talked about. As their bills increase, people are going to drop out and find some other way of getting heating. Maybe they'll go to Fortis, BC and get a gas furnace. We were talking to a provider, a guy who does heat pumps and stuff, and he was saying a lot of people are converting to gas now because they can't afford electricity.
And, of course, Vancouver Mayor Gregor Robertson is against natural gas, but he doesn't plan to run again, and perhaps sanity will reign at Vancouver City Hall again.
Well, you know, the whole thing is that I'm hoping more people will turn to solar. Pretty soon that's going to be the way that people turn, because, you know, if electricity is high now and gas is low, the next thing we know, gas will be high and electricity will be low, one way or the other. And, you know, from an environmental standpoint, solar is by far better than either of them. So we really should be looking at the best possible option for our environment as well as our finances. Just waiting for, you know, some really cheap and good batteries. Telus has said that, you know, Musk is working on getting some batteries that, you know, are affordable, that could see you through an outage period or a cold overnight or something like that when the sun's not out. So I would love to go solar.
You have concerns about a Chinese connection to our telecommunications network in Site C. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, this was very interesting. About a week ago, there was an article about the intelligence agencies in the U.S. Were testifying before Congress. And one of the things they brought up, you know, because they're very concerned about the cybersecurity They're starting to get very concerned about data being stolen and one thing or another. And they specifically identified one Chinese company, and I think you pronounce it Huawei.
Huawei.
Huawei. Huawei. Huawei. And they said that this is a company that should be avoided, that no company in the U.S. should be dealing with it. And they said if anyone, and they identified, cell phones and things like this as a product that Huawei produces, not to use them because the data is not secure. And the U.S. believes that the data is being shared directly with the Chinese government. Well, lo and behold, I happen to recognize the name as a company that TELUS is dealing with. TELUS has contracted with Huawei for a number of years now in British Columbia and perhaps across the country. They are producing the transmitters that are going into the microcells that are going along the streets outside our homes, for instance. I believe that there are an awful lot of telecommunications contracts and connections with Huawei that TELUS has gone into. And I believe our governments, both federal and provincial, are totally unaware or are ignoring the fact that these are virtually arms of the Chinese government. If they are gathering data on corporations and on individuals, and we know how easy it is to gather data from the smart meters, from the microcells, from anything that's wireless, who knows what information is being given to the Chinese government, and for what reason?
Huawei is a major sponsor of Hockey Night in Canada, which means they're directly connected to Rogers, which owns the rights to Hockey Night in Canada.
And if you go into Best Buy, for instance, cell phones and big signs are up there about this company. People obviously are buying their products here without knowing that it poses a security risk not only for them but for potentially grids like our electrical grid. This could very well be, an opening, an easy way for the Chinese government to get into our electrical grid and play havoc with it at some time down the future. And especially since we're going to be connected to the U.S. They could use entry in Canada, I believe, and I don't know this because I haven't checked it, but the way I understand how the grid works, once we're all interconnected, they could enter here and end up causing havoc in the U.S.
Could those links also be connected to Site C?
Well, I don't know if Huawei is. It could be. But there are other Chinese companies, that have bought Canadian firms that are working at Site C. So, there's a definite Chinese connection across various projects here in British Columbia. And I think it's very, very suspicious, as I've said before, that the Chinese companies are buying Canadian. It was Acon, I believe, that they bought a company that was contracted to do major work for Site C. And they would have the same access to the sort of data and infrastructure information that Huawei is. This is, I believe, something that we really need to be asking our governments about. Why are they allowing this to happen? And what kind of oversight is there? What kind of protection is there that our data and our infrastructure is not going to be put at risk?
We'll have more with Sharon Noble right after the break.
MGX Minerals is revolutionizing the new energy economy with patented lithium extraction technology, replacing traditional solar evaporation using low-cost, low-energy nanofiltration. The first system of this paradigm shift technology is currently being commissioned. MGX Minerals trades on the CSE, symbol XMG, the OTCQB, symbol MGXMF, and Frankfurt, symbol 1MG. For more information, visit our website, mgxminerals.com.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO, on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain's Brunswick property is located in the Rideout Shear Zone in Ontario, with grab samples running as high as 32 grams per ton gold. A follow-up drill program to test numerous targets located by recent groundwork is planned for early 2018. Please visit our website at rmroyalty.com. reniemountainscience.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sharon Noble. Sharon, an Italian study has confirmed something that other studies have also confirmed. Can you tell us about them?
Yes, there's been a very recent study from Italy. It was done by an institute there. The Ramazzini, I believe, is the name of the institute. It's a very, very highly regarded and well-respected institute. And it's done a study that it started in 2005, and it was looking at the relationship between microwave radiation and cancers, various cancers. And it released its study draft this week, and it's hopefully the final draft will be released very soon. They said it within days. But it confirmed the very same information that resulted from the National Toxicology study that was released just recently, saying that exposure to microwave radiation like that from smart meters and cell phones and Wi-Fi increases there's a direct relationship with malignant schwannomas. Those are tumors of the heart, which are extremely rare. This is something that, until the most recent studies came out, I personally had never even heard of. And they're saying that there is a significant increase and risk of schwannomas of the heart, as well as cancers of the brain and other parts of the body. This confirms over and over again. Now, I don't know how many studies need to be done. We know that there are at least 23,000 studies that have shown serious health effects. And these are two major studies that took more than 10 years and millions of dollars done by world-renowned scientists, saying that there's a direct relationship between microwave radiation and cancers. And no one's doing anything. Again, the World Health Organization, Health Canada are turning a blind eye to this information. It's really quite astounding. And many scientists now, and the scientists in this study and the scientists in some other recent studies are saying there is incontrovertible evidence now that there is a relationship between microwave radiation and cancer, enough to say that this is a carcinogenic toxin, and it should not be allowed. We should not even be allowed to buy this. Just as we can't buy DDT, we shouldn't be allowed to buy anything that exposes our bodies, our children, our pets, insects, to a carcinogen. This is a human carcinogen.
Have you sent that information on to the government so they can't claim ignorance?
Not yet, although I know that Dr. Tony Miller, who's a professor at the University of Toronto, has done it. So I would suspect that at the national level, he's probably more keyed into those than I am. And I will send it to our new provincial health officer, although if she is anything like her predecessor, Dr. Kendall, he will say until Health Canada does something, he's not going to do anything. It's a very sad situation, Jim, because there are so many people who are facing this harm, and there's nobody doing anything about it. At so many levels, they're letting us down here.
We'll have more with Sharon Noble right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're talking with Sharon Noble. Sharon, in England, they already connected some microwave frequencies to cancer in the military. Are they planning to use those same frequencies here in British Columbia?
They're using them all over the place in all the militaries, and in the public. There was a recent study that reviewed cancers in the military. It went through the various cancers and tried to correlate specific cancers with exposures to things like radar and radio communication equipment. And these are the frequencies of the radio communication equipment, as far as I know, is very similar to the various wireless communications devices the public is exposed to. And they found that the relationship was striking. There was, in their study, this is one of the studies that just came out that is calling for the World Health Organization and for the IARC to classify this as a human carcinogen. So many of the studies are doing that now. And, there are the frequencies that are being used by the military in many regards are also the frequencies that are going to be used in the microcells that are going to be put across along the street. We don't know, this study from the military did not give specific frequencies, but I do know from other articles that I've read that, they use a whole range, on their ships and one thing or another. They use a whole range of frequencies. Now, of course, their power might be different, but if you're exposed to microwave radiation on an extended period of time, over a prolonged period, the studies show that you are going to be facing health effects. And whether it's sensitivity, which is increasing dramatically around the world, or if it's cancers, or if it's one of the other multitude of health problems, ranging from heart problems to neurological problems to simple things like tinnitus, just irritating problems, people face many, many health issues. And it's time now. It's time that we, as a public, started getting involved in this. It's obvious that our provincial public health officers and Health Canada aren't going to do anything. So we have to. Wi-Fi is prolific in schools. The schools are being told that it is safe. We have smart meters on our home that are emitting our families the whole time they're in the house. TELUS is putting fiber optic cable supposedly to your house and then hooking up your television, your phone, and your internet wirelessly. We can't escape it. And there are going to be even more. There are satellites that are going to be put up that are going to be emitting signals into the rural areas where the cell towers don't reach. There'll be a time where we can't find any place where we're safe.
Saskatchewan, by the way, banned smart meters after they were found to have caused 8 fires. No such response in other provinces. Has Saskatchewan found a smart meter replacement for the ones that were causing the fires?
No, they haven't. And this is after 3 years. 8, and they weren't even 8 fires. There were 8 fires and meter failures. Where, for instance, the meter melted and got overheated, but they caught it before it actually caught fire. They had census meters. We have Itron meters. The technology is very, very similar, if not identical, in many regards. They share many of the same design flaws. The Saskatchewan government, which was NDP at the time, stopped the program and had every smart meter removed from homes. And the old meters, whether they were analogs or digitals, were put back into the homes. And this week, there was an announcement that they had completed a pilot project and were happy with the results for commercial smart meters, which are different, very different than residential ones. In the same announcement, they said that they still had not found a residential smart meter that meets or exceeds present industry standards. And that's a pretty low bar. The current standards, I don't even know if there are any. the UL certification in the States, supposedly they've got a protocol that's specific to smart meters, but yet every smart meter that has been tested, for instance, Landis Gear, they certified it, and it was the very same model that caught fire and burned in Texas without any changes. They've certified Itron, and I know, because I've been studying it for the last 5 years, that Itron meters are burning, even though our government, BCUC, and Hydro deny it. These meters are burning. So the fact that Saskatchewan is taking the time to try to find a meter that's safe, and after 3 years they still haven't found one, that really should tell people something. Saskatchewan is doing due diligence. It is really taking this thing seriously, and they're not going to budge, yet we're sitting here with the same meters on our homes that have caught fires and failed many, many times, far more than have happened in Saskatchewan. I don't understand why nothing's happening here. Why is the government allowing this to happen? Are our lives less important than those of people living in Saskatchewan? It was the NDP government in Saskatchewan that took this move. The NDP here is doing nothing. I think it's shameful.
Sharon, anything else you think we should know about this week?
Well, one thing that people may not think is important, but I think is important, is that TELUS is continuing to mislead people. If they come to the house, try to tell you that they're bringing fiber optics right to your house, and they're extolling the virtues of fiber optic cable. Fiber optic cable is wonderful. It is, from as far as I know, the best alternative that you can have. It's the best option you can have for internet, for cable service, and for telephone. It is safe, it is fast, it's efficient, but it's only as good as the last step. If TELUS hooks this up to your home through a box on your outside wall, and then tells you that it's going to hook you up to a brand new Wi-Fi modem in your house, your speed's not going to increase significantly. You're not going to benefit because you don't have excellent cable in your house that you're hooking up to. And in addition, they're taking the landline. They're removing the copper landline and replacing it with one that is voice over internet protocol, which means you're going to have your voice over an internet modem that's going to be dependent upon internet cell connections. It's no longer going to be done over telephone lines that are more secure and more reliable. From my own experience, I know because they tricked me. I lost my landline. They didn't tell me. I'm now stuck with this thing. And when the power goes out, you lose your phone service. There's a battery that is supposed to be able to hold the charge for 8 hours. Last year we lost outage, and after 1 hour I went to make a call, and my phone was dead. If I had to make a phone call to the police department or to the fire department or for an ambulance, I couldn't have done it. They are depending upon you having a cell phone. I don't have a cell phone, and I will not have a cell phone because I know they're dangerous. But now I don't have a phone. I don't have a landline. And this week, one of the coalition members' father, who is elderly, had TELUS come to his door. His daughter had told him about TELUS, had warned him. He refused TELUS. He says, "No, I don't want it." Then he discovered later in the day, TELUS had pulled his landline anyhow. If his phone was not working, he called TELUS and they said, "Oh, well, they put a modem in." He says, "I never approved it." He said, after fighting with him for 2 hours on the phone, they gave in because he's elderly. This should not happen. TELUS should not be invading our home, should not be doing things that we don't want. I had another person yesterday contact me. The same thing happened. They changed his modem. Now he had a modem already. They changed his Wi-Fi modem without his knowledge from a 4.5 gigahertz, which is the frequency it uses, to a 5 gigahertz. And he said within half an hour, he had one of the worst headaches he's ever had in his life. It was unbearable. He immediately assumed it was due to this change in modem that they put in, and he had it changed, and they put in the old one. For some reason, he's highly sensitive, obviously, to the 5 gigahertz frequency, but not to the 4.5 gigahertz frequency, because he said as soon as they changed the modem, his headache went away. These are things people need to be aware of, and I think that especially people need to know that when TELUS comes to your home offering fiber optic cable, you are going to lose your landline, your copper, dependable landline that everyone has had for years and years and years. Hydro wants to take our reliable, safe analog meters, and TELUS wants to take our safe, reliable phone lines. And we're going to be left with no choice but to go wireless with everything.
Sharon, thank you so much for chatting with us. What are your websites?
The website is www.stopsmartmetersbc.com. And thank you very much, Jim. I always appreciate talking with you.
Well, thank you for being a guest.
My pleasure.
My guest has been Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Our popular YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Questions for the show or our guests can be emailed to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.